Let's jump right into it. That's interesting. You're talking about like the Black Lives Matter stuff is like Michael Brown and Trayvon Martin was the start of what it started Black Lives Matter. Yeah. So this breaking news we got, let's just do the breaking news first because this is particularly relevant. Kyle Rittenhouse released from Kenosha County Jail after bond posted. It's pretty straightforward. That's the story, right? So, but there's little details. They say that the teen was fatally charged with shooting two protesters in Kenosha. Many of you probably know about this. This was in Wisconsin. He is no longer in custody at the Kenosha County Jail. A spokesperson for the sheriff said in a statement, Kenosha County prosecutors charged Rittenhouse of Antioch, Illinois, with fatally shooting Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber during a protest over a police shooting in August. They've also charged him with wounding a third man, Gage Grosskreutz. Rittenhouse faces multiple counts, including intentional homicide and illegally possessing a gun. His attorneys contend he was acting in self-defense. The case has been a rallying point for conservatives. Yeah, we don't need that stuff. They say in a phone interview with the Washington Post, Rittenhouse revealed the gun he used in the shooting was purchased using money he received from an unemployment check during the coronavirus pandemic. Basically, his COVID stimulus check he used to buy a gun.
Smart man.
Rittenhouse, I'd say. I mean, he's in hot water right now. But Rittenhouse, 17, could not legally purchase the weapon himself, so he gave the money to a friend to buy it for him, according to both Rittenhouse and police reports. That's crazy. That's messed up. He says, I got my $1,200 from the coronavirus Illinois unemployment because I was on furlough from the YMCA. I got my first unemployment check, so I was like, I'll use it to buy it, he told the Post. Prosecutors have charged a Wisconsin man with supplying the gun. That's crazy. In his interview, Rittenhouse said he doesn't regret having the gun that night, saying, I had to protect myself. I would have died that night if I didn't. So, man, I mean, there's the breaking news. Right off the bat, I'd be interested to hear, what do you think about Kyle Rittenhouse?
I like Kyle Rittenhouse. He's a hero.
Wow.
He's an American hero. He's a kid who took a stimulus check and bought guns.
That's right.
Yeah, but he wasn't legally allowed to, and someone did it illegally for him. That's not cool.
That's unconstitutional to put an age on how old you can be to buy guns. That is unconstitutional.
There was something recently came out. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they said that there's a different, like the current Supreme Court is going to interpret 2A very differently. I can't remember who I was talking to about this.
Sure.
But they were like, we might start seeing a bunch of changes to these laws that we got. In California, they ruled, I think the Ninth Circuit ruled that magazine size, you can't restrict that. That's a violation of the Second Amendment. So we'll see if that, hits the rest of the country. Yeah, sticks. But there was something like, somebody was telling me this, I can't remember who, they said that it's likely that with the Supreme Court, we're going to start seeing the nitpicking of all these laws. Like, this thing can't be used, but that thing can't be used. That's going to go away. Yeah. Speaking of unconstitutional.
The inevitability of communism.
Is that what you think?
It's the slithering dragon. It's the snake. And it just finds its way into your backyard and bites your child when you're not looking. That's what it does. They're trying to bite us right now with the vaccine. They're trying to take our guns away. They're trying to take our speech away. That's what communism does, man, But Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero in my eyes. He stood up for what he believed in. And looking at the video footage of the shooting, I didn't see a guy purposely trying to murder somebody. I saw somebody running for his life.
Saying he was going to the cops.
Saying he was going to the cops. Indeed. And there was a bit of a verbal skirmish at the gas station prior to. And one of the gentlemen who got his wig split, he said, go ahead, shoot me, MFer. This is what one of those guys said.
I think that was Rosenbaum, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And then he chased after him.
And he got exactly what he asked for, which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate to have anybody lose their life over this political divide that the media has created.
Yep.
So, shouts go to his family and condolences to them. I just find it ironic that he asked for it and he got it. God speaks in mysterious ways. But Kyle Rittenhouse, I thought he was defending himself.
I think so. I think that's clear. I think it's weird that they decided to do like the harshest possible charges imaginable to this kid. And then the media went nuts, just lying about everything.
Yeah, I heard them call him everything from like right wing to
white supremacist.
White supremacist. I'm like, he took out two other white dudes.
right. And the third guy that got shot was white. It's just the media game, man. And so I talk to people all the time. They have no idea what happened. We had the people that were actually on the ground covering it, the riot squad.
Okay.
So we had like Shelby Talcott, Richie McGinnis. Who else is in that crew? Jorge Ventura. There was someone else who was.
No, I think it was those three.
Those three.
Yeah.
They were actually there watching it all happen, and I also talked to. There's a bunch of people down there that were covering it, the rioters lit a dumpster on fire and tried pushing it into a gas station.
Wow.
And that's what started it all. So then there's a video of Kyle Rittenhouse running with a fire extinguisher. We don't know exactly. You have to talk to them who were on the ground. But basically, him and these dudes are trying to put these fires out. If they push a dumpster in a gas station, they blow it up. That's going to be real bad.
Oh, yeah.
But because he did that, they attacked him. And that's the stuff that the media doesn't talk about. They just say, Facebook, if you praise him in any way, Facebook, like they ban you or something like that or suspend you. Super strict. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube comes after us over the way we're talking about it.
Oh, let me calm down.
I mean, look, if it's true, it's true, and if you feel that way, you feel that way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to throw this kid under the bus because the media is threatening to ban me or social media says they'll ban me. Yeah. No, we got to tell people what really happened.
Well, the only thing that I would add to this conversation is that a bunch of people agree with you, Hotep, because he raised $2 million for bail.
That's crazy.
And I don't think that came out of his parents' pocket. That came from people who really think that he was
Did it, though? Did they fundraise
I think they
crowdfunded
it. Yeah. I truly believe that to be the case.
So what do you think about these riots, man? So, kind of a segue away from just the specific Kyle Rittenhouse stuff. We've had a year of all this riots. Things have kind of calmed down a little bit, but I think it'll light up again depending on what happens with Trump. But just in the context of, you're saying, the Hotep thing came out of Black Lives Matter, there was like a split. So just your general thoughts, man.
So I have to give you a history on Black Lives Matter.
That'd be important. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So that's going to take us back to, what's that city? Darren Sills. Ferguson. Thank you. Ferguson. This is right outside of St. Louis, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's part of the St. Louis County.
All right. So a brother by the name of Darren Sills is a community organizer out there, and he was right there with Mike Brown's mom. The night after we shot, the whole nine through the whole thing, and the first night, like I always tell people with these things, the first night is usually very peaceful. It's people demonstrating, they're upset, they're marching, they're venting, right? And then he said that he saw some white kids pop up and try to instigate with the police. They would pop up, throw stuff at the police, and then disappear into the night. So we saw the precursor to Antifa, basically.
Yep.
And I was telling people at the time that I was like, hey, there's like people that are infiltrating these things. So he did a expose on Black Lives Matter, and he exposed them, talk about, how they came down with the media. A lot of people were taking credit for his work and the organization that he did and got those people out in those streets. And then, he's talking about those guys were cutting checks. They were sitting up in the house. Donations were coming in, and none of it went to Ferguson, right? It all went to people's pockets. And these big checks were coming to some of these organizers. So the organizers getting paid to just basically protest, but none of it went to the actual community. And mysteriously, he was murdered. So, I just liked it. Every time I talk about Black Lives Matter in history, I got to shout out Darren Sills.
Was he the dude they found him in the car, or was that something?
Yeah.
That's a crazy story, man.
Yeah.
Because I was down there a few days after everything kicked off. I was in and out as the court case was going on. Mm-hmm. And then I remember hearing a lot of people were pointing out that some of the OG activists were turning up dead.
Yeah.
Some people were saying it's a grand conspiracy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that happened to some people.
Sure as hell looked like it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But that's tough, man. How do you prove something like that?
I don't touch stuff like that. That's not my job. I'm sure there's people out there that would risk their life to find out the truth. I think we understand what happened out there. I think a lot of us understand the truth of what happened to Darren Sills. But RIP to Darren Sills. He was a soldier. He was a true community leader. He gave back his own money and his own time to the community. Very important black man. And F anybody, who came out to Ferguson and stole money. That was terrible. That's just terrible. People do that.
I got a quick story for you, man. So I was down there. I can't remember which night it was, but riots erupted. A bunch of people start running into, I think it was a dollar store across the street. I'm not sure, smashing the windows, and then a bunch of young dudes from Ferguson linked arms in front of the liquor store, like that's the one where Michael Brown went to stop the rioting. And then I was standing right by there. There's another journalist, and this journalist from Al Jazeera asked these guys, like, what are you doing? And they said, the people rioting and destroying our community don't live here. Right. They're coming from outside and they're destroying everything. They're burning down our buildings. There's like, we live here, we work here, these are our stores. Why are they doing this? And then what do we get from Antifa? They're writing articles like in defense of looting.
Yeah.
No joke. That article became a book, apparently. And so I'm sitting there watching these guys beg, like, please don't destroy our home.
Yeah.
And these other people come in, they're smashing up everything. And then these, white upper class progressives defend the villains, the people destroying the community.
Well, they're defending themselves.
Right,
Like I always tell
yeah,
people,
yeah.
anytime some of this stuff happens, you have to understand that day one is going to be looting, and that stuff is somewhat organic. When you see the fire, that's usually white Antifa. You know what I mean? Like I always say,
Yep.
I always say, black folks, we might be kleptomaniacs, but white folks is definitely pyromaniacs.
Yeah.
Right? That's my running joke, But when you see the fire, usually that's Antifa. And people try to identify that as like Black Lives Matter. Like people will say, oh, they're burning down their own neighborhood. I'm like, no, that's paid protesters and antagonists. That's Bolshevik money.
Dude, they're like rich kids who are bored.
Yeah.
And dude, I'll tell you this, man. I know some people who've got some legit money. And it's not so much that the people I've met in these things I've never seen anybody who's paid to do anything like that.
Right.
But I've met people who are well off and fund their friends to go out and do that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And that's exactly what we see happening here. And that's the problem with Black Lives Matter organization. Like my homie Wordsmith said, where the money at? Where the money at?
There's some high profile activists. People keep asking, where's the money at?
Yeah. Where's the money? Where did the money go? Over 100 million was raised, I think, in just 1 year alone. So I know they got a big bad sitting somewhere. That money never makes it to the community. That's what happens when you deal with slimy Democrats, socialists, or Marxists, man.
You just don't mince words.
Damn, you're right.
So like Black Lives Matter was raising money through Thousand Currents. Do you know about that? It's like
They were raising money through what?
I think it's called Thousand Currents. It's a charity.
Okay.
And so because Black Lives Matter didn't have their own charity,
Right, they used another.
but then those donations are collected through ActBlue.
Yeah,
which
the
is,
payment mechanism.
so you had a lot of people saying that the Black Lives Matter money was going straight to Joe Biden, but it's not.
No.
But a percentage of all that Black Lives Matter money goes to a fundraising platform for Democrats. So they
Yeah.
take their fee, right? So it's not
Yeah.
it's not direct cash being given to the Democrats, but it's funding partly their fundraising apparatus.
Yeah, I mean, you take 5% of 100 million, whatever that is, right? I mean,
Yep.
look at if you look at the fine print, ActBlue is the payment mechanism. So we're not saying it's going directly, but whatever ActBlue money makes off of per transaction is going to the Democratic Party. It's going to their ActBlue. I think it's another like PAC or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is crazy. A percentage of the money goes to their operations or whatever, right?
Right.
They use it to fund their operations, but they also have some kind of provision where if the organization doesn't collect it, then they can disperse it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, I saw that too. That's in the fine print. I mean,
Exactly.
that's standard in a lot of these contracts with these fundraising.
It makes
websites.
sense to be fair. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just have money floating around doing nothing. You
Right.
got to do something with it.
Yeah, you got to put it to work.
And then you have to tell people you're going to.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
Yeah. But again, where's the money? This has been the problem with the black community. I'm not going to go ahead and slander Martin Luther King like that on Timcast, Tim Pool's podcast. But I mean,
Was that happening back in the day too?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
The whole civil rights movement was a big publicity stunt.
What?
Yeah.
It kind of worked though, didn't it?
Yeah, it worked to destroy us.
Really? Why do you think?
Integration was infiltration.
Interesting.
Integration was infiltration. I go to the school of Thaddeus Russell, Renegade University, and he's got all the facts laid out. We do a Tuesday night class about Africa. Did you know that W.E.B. Du Bois never met a black person until he was 20 years old?
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
No way.
Who is that?
He was right. W.E.B. Du Bois, one of them old heads from like late 1800s, early 1900s. He lived to a very old age, but father of sociology. Black guy, half black. He's mixed. But yeah, the integrationists, really what happened was the integrationists wanted, well, let's talk about what the independent people wanted. Independent black folks said, hey, look, there's money coming from the government to white schools. We want money for our schools. And NAACP and all those sellouts came around and said, look, we'll fight for your cause if you agree to integrate. And they said, no, we don't want to integrate. We're cool with our schools. And they're like, nah, we're not going to support you unless you integrate. So, when people they like to talk about Tulsa and they like to call it a massacre. It's not a massacre if you fight back, right? So Tulsa was not a massacre. It was definitely an attack on black property and black businesses and black life. But we fought back, and Tulsa survived for 40 years after that attack.
That was Black Wall Street, right?
Black Wall Street.
That's what they called it.
What happened?
Yeah, some white folks was a little upset, came down and started acting rowdy.
I think they were Democrats, weren't they?
They were Dixiecrats, indeed.
Dixiecrats.
Yeah. It's, white liberals. So they came down and, caused a fuss, and they were dropping bombs from airplanes. And it got really serious, yeah. But the point is, Black Wall Street doesn't die until integration.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.